All right, let's dive into the story of a company you definitely think you know, Goodyear. But trust me, this is way more than just rubber meeting the road. We're talking about game-changing inventions, high-stakes corporate drama, and yeah, even a trip to the moon. Let's get into it.
I mean, seriously? From horseshoe pads to the moon? It sounds kind of crazy, right? But that one question really captures the absolutely incredible, sprawling history of this company. It's a journey of wild innovation, iconic branding, and navigating some pretty serious storms just to stay on the road.
So, let's start at the beginning with one crucial idea. You gotta remember, back in the late 1800s, cars were a new thing, and their tires? A total nightmare. We're gonna see how this small company in Akron, Ohio set out to fix that, and in doing so, helped make the automobile a thing for everyone. Okay, picture this. It's 1898. Frank Seiberling buys an old factory with the loan and decides to name his new company after Charles Goodyear, the guy who invented vulcanized rubber. Talk about perfect timing. By 1901, they were already making racing tires for a fella named Henry Ford. And get this, by 1908, their tires were the go-to choice for the car that changed everything, the Model T. Now, to really get why this was such a huge deal, you have to understand that early car tires were a complete pain. If you got a flat, you needed crowbars and a whole lot of muscle. Goodyear's straight-side tire completely changed the game. It used this braided wire bead to lock onto the rim, which meant it was suddenly easy to take off and put back on. All of a sudden, fixing a tire wasn't a job for a blacksmith anymore. And before they were this automotive giant, they were making all sorts of stuff. Rubber horseshoe pads to give horses a bit of a softer ride, tires for bikes and carriages, and yes, believe it or not, even poker chips. It just goes to show you how versatile rubber was back at the turn of the century. Okay, so they started strong, but this next phase is where Goodyear goes from being a successful startup to an absolute global powerhouse. This is all about explosive growth and creating one of the most recognizable brands on the entire planet. And when I say growth, I mean a staggering growth. By 1926, so less than 30 years after they started, Goodyear's sales shot past $230 million. That made them the largest rubber company in the world. They didn't just catch the wave of the car revolution, they were helping to drive it. But how do you make a tire company a true household name? Well, you take to the skies. The first advertising blimp, the Pilgrim, took flight in 1925. It was a stroke of pure marketing genius. That Goodyear blimp quickly became this beloved American icon, just floating over sporting events and cities for decades. And the company's impact went way, way beyond consumer cars. They completely dominated Formula One, which is like the ultimate testing ground for tire tech. During World War II, they weren't just making tires, they were building entire F-4U Corsair fighter planes. They even had a hand in the space age, and for over 50 years they brought those iconic character balloons to life in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. But that kind of incredible success doesn't happen without some major challenges. In the second half of the 20th century, Goodyear faced some massive storms that literally threatened its existence. From disruptive technology to a hostile takeover that almost tore the whole company apart. The first big storm was the radial tire. It was developed by Michelin, and it was just better. More durable, more fuel efficient, the whole deal. The problem? Goodyear, and pretty much the entire US industry, was built to make the old bias-ply tires. To switch over meant a colossal, bet-the-company-level investment to retool everything. And this was a make-or-break moment. Back in 1974, against a ton of advice, CEO Charles Goodyear made a monumental decision. He bet the entire company on radial technology, pouring a fortune into retooling. It was an incredibly gutsy move, and as a later CEO admitted, without that decision, Goodyear simply wouldn't be around today, period. Then came the 1980s, the era of the corporate raider. This financier, James Goldsmith, saw Goodyear as this bloated company with too many side businesses and things like oil and gas. So he launched a hostile takeover, and it really forced Goodyear into a corner. To save itself, the company had to buy back its own stock at a premium. And the real irony? They ended up doing exactly what Goldsmith demanded anyway, selling off all their other divisions to focus completely on tires. The company also faced some really significant legal and social storms. The case of Lilly Ledbetter became a landmark moment in employment law.
After working there for years, she found out she was being paid way less than her male colleagues for the same work. Her case went all the way to the Supreme Court, which at first ruled against her because of a strict 180-day time limit to file a claim. But that decision sparked this huge national debate that eventually led Congress to pass the Lilly-Ledbetter Fair Pay Act.
So, after weathering all of those storms, Goodyear turned its focus squarely to the future. This final chapter is all about how the company is innovating right now for a world of electric cars, self-driving vehicles, and sustainable transportation.
So what does a modern Goodyear even look like? Well, it looks like a company that's adapting to a completely new world. They're tackling sustainability by making tires out of things like cornstarch. They're embracing data with intelligent tires that have sensors built right in. They're engineering new solutions for the unique challenges of electric vehicles. And they're looking ahead by investing directly in the next generation of mobility startups. And they are not just sitting still either. I mean, they're making some seriously big strategic moves. In just the last few years, they made their largest acquisition ever by buying Cooper Tire, but they've also sold off their heavy-duty off-the-road business and the Dunlop brand. It's all part of a massive effort to really sharpen their focus on the consumer and commercial markets where they want to win. And that brings us right up to today. Goodyear's 125-year ride has taken us from horseshoe pads all the way to the moon. After literally shaping how we move for more than a century, the big question is, what will a simple tire even look like in another 125 years? What do you think?